Everyone knows Mickey Mouse's influence is everywhere. His tiny little rodent hands have touched every type of entertainment. And I don't just mean how many companies Disney absorbed. I mean how far they stretch their own characters as well. We've talked about steampunk Tinkerbell and her non-binary crush. Disney is way more ballsy in their books, I'll tell you what. We talked about a Tinkerbell romance novel. There's a new one coming out this summer that I'm going to cover. Disney is taking what once could only be fanon and hiring people to publish fan fiction for them. Things you thought Disney would never care about. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, mobile games, manga. It's not about this giant company making money from these smaller ventures. They market to every possible demographic to be completely unavoidable. It's working, and it's unfortunately genius. Butt lovers. This was originally gonna be a tier list video, but that would be like comparing apples to airplanes. Disney has stupid range. I know a lot of people's first instinct is to be annoyed because this giant company is pretty much monopoly status at this point. And I'm right there with you, but I love that people are being hired to write fan fiction. I want more companies to take note. I want more authors paid to write about their favorite movie they grew up with and expand the world in silly ways. So yes, the alternate universes we're discussing today are the ones that are technically kinda canon. It's a whole can of worms. Thank you so much to Iz on Discord for the makeup inspiration for today's video. I am super obsessed with it. If you want to submit makeup inspiration for a future video, tag me over on my Instagram, AthenaPLore, or join our Discord. No sponsor for this video, I just wanted to shout out my last 2 videos because I got a concerning amount of comments letting me know this didn't pop up on people's notifications and subscription feeds like it usually does. This video right here is about Haha You Clowns and Eternal Family's The Family. They are both very surprisingly heartwarming shows, despite building up an absurd level of suspense. I highly recommend that one. I had a lot of fun with that one. A lot of fun. And this one is just a second channel video where I get on my soapbox. I am so anti-cringe culture. I think that people are embarrassed to do anything, and I think it's sad. Now, let's start off very strong with A Twisted Tale. This series follows different what-ifs that twist the story of classic Disney and Pixar movies into something entirely different. They are alternate timelines. With some, it's as simple as the butterfly effect, how one small change can affect the story in a big way. For example, what if Cinderella never tried on the slipper? To even bigger twists, like, what if Belle's mother cursed the beast? I heard that meeting the in-laws could be awkward, but this is ridiculous.
You need to leave!
This one also intrigues me because way to utilize a character we've never seen in the original source material. Very fun, very creative. My original plan was to read all the books for this video, but this series has been going on for over 10 years with 23 books in total. And a Lilo and Stitch Twisted Tale is coming this fall. What if Nani and Stitch had to join the Galactic Federation to keep their Ohana together? Some of these questions truly hurt my brain. With this in mind, I decided to read only one for this video and save the rest for a video fully dedicated to this series. I read Reflection. What if Mulan had to travel to the underworld? Disney has their adults in a chokehold because look how dense this is.
Damn.
Thicker than their necks. You should check out that video. And just so you know, the font isn't big. Look at how tiny these words are.
I am small.
Let's go post-it note by post-it note. Disney's Mulan always centered intense themes like honor and war, but there was enough silly shit like the musical numbers, A Girl Worth Fighting For, that made it feel not too heavy and unmistakably Disney, and there is almost no trace of that here. Let me read you this intro. Her sword weighed heavily in her hand. She stared at the polished blade, wondering if its reflection would be the last sight she ever caught of herself. Would she die as Ping, the Fa son she made up so she could join the army in her father's place? If she died here in the middle of the snow-covered mountain pass, she'd never see her father or her family again. Now don't get me wrong, this exposition does get a little goofy when she more or less says, yeah, and I thought the matchmaker was stressful. Remember that scene? in the Disney movie. But back to the present, maybe serving her country as a warrior was truer to her heart than being a bride. Yet when she saw her reflection in her sword, she knew she was still pretending to be someone else. She'd never have a chance to find out who that person was, because she, Mulan, was about to die. Damn. I do like that they remind us who she is, though, in case we forgot, because who? The only character we've mentioned so far. Oh, okay. They paint the same scene as in the movie, the one where Mulan goes against Shang's orders and fires the cannon at the snowy mountain, and the writing still manages to capture way more fear than in the original. Her blood thundered in her ears. I know it's going to end in a happily ever after, but I'm stressed. We're only at chapter 2 and Shang was just stabbed. They painted this picture so clearly, I was gaslit into thinking this actually happened in the movie, so I had to rewatch and no, obviously not. He wasn't even stabbed in the second movie. It looks like this tale has officially been twisted. Hey, take that, soldier! They expertly mixed the original storyline with this one. Listen to this. Ping, you're the craziest man I've ever met. And for that, I owe you my life. From now on, you have my trust. But instead of Mulan passing out, Shang does. 'Cause he was stabbed. Chifu is just as much of a nuisance in this book as he was in the movie. Instead of throwing Mulan on the ground for being a woman, he insists they should leave Shang to die. We're not leaving him, Mulan said firmly. Your duty to the Emperor comes first, soldier, Chifu frowned at her. Or must I document your insubordination? We'll take Shang with us. Impossible, Chifu snapped. We don't have enough supplies to take our time. The longer we wallow in this blizzard, the sooner we'll all die. Besides, he wouldn't survive the journey. They should have twisted the tale so much, Chifu finds out Shang is a woman. What if Mulan was a lesbian? Mulan stayed by Shang's side for days, watching him breathe, checking his pulse. Late in the night, the spirit of Shang's father appears, with some pretty bummer news. General Li, pardon me for asking, but how are you here? Shang will not make it through the night, General Li informed her sadly, without answering her question. He will join me in the underworld. When I saw Underworld in the title, I ignorantly thought this would be a shameless crossover. I thought Hades would show up. Descendants had certainly led my expectations astray, because instead we focus on Chinese mythology with the ruler of Diyu, King Yama. Shang's family guardian, a giant stone lion named Shishi, is helping Mulan travel to Diyu to save Shang. Shishi is a bit snappy, big-headed, and his banter with Mulan is pretty fun. Gone was his carved stone, replaced by a rippling coat of fur and a thick, coarse mane. Yes, Shishi interrupted. This is how I would appear if I was normally your guardian. I know, I'm magnificent. You can thank the magic in this place for letting you see me this way. Otherwise, not being a member of the Li family, you wouldn't have this honor. Mulan rolled her eyes in the shadows. Even Mushu wasn't this arrogant. The demon guards were insistent a human cannot enter Diyu, and listened to Shishi's lie. This is my little soldier, Shishi replied. He's not entirely human. There's a bit of fairy blood in him. Huh? What did he mean by that? 'Cause Mulan is obviously more feminine as Ping, so I don't like that he said that. I don't know what he means by that. I didn't like that. I wanted to point that out because I don't see why that was the lie. And why his stature was important in trying to convince them that... I don't know. It was weird, right? I wonder if the dad and spirit guardian would even talk to her if they knew. Madam, can you point me to the nearest soldier? My son is sort of... I don't want to frighten such a fragile, sweet little thing, but he's dying. I was going to ask the first person I see to help, but obviously you can't. You're a woman. In chapter 8 out of 33, Mulan meets the king of Diyu. I thought it would take way longer. And she is bold and brave, and honestly way too comfortable around the king of the underworld. I'm not here to intrude, your majesty. I'm here to bring Captain Li Shang back to the land of the living. At that, King Yama set down his quill and laughed. It was a terrible, terrible laugh that rebounded across the long chamber and silenced the ghosts whispering and gossiping. Back to the land of the living! Ha! You're a funny one, Ping, especially for someone who doesn't exist. It's weird that he knew Ping wasn't in his records but didn't investigate further. It's not a joke. I'm here to bring Captain Li back. It is not yet his time to die. And who are you to decide that? King Yama's amusement quickly shifted into anger. Hundreds arrive in my realm every hour. I am the one who decides whether they get to stay in DU or return to Earth or rise to heaven. Do you know how much consideration goes into making such decisions? Do you know how difficult it is to decide whether someone should go to heaven as a reward for his good behavior on Earth, or whether he should stay in DU to make amends for the one time he kicked a dog or had too much to drink, or whether he should make those amends back on Earth in a new life? There was a schedule to keep, boy, and you are wasting my precious time. I can't give up now, Mulan thought. This is actually the perfect time to give up. For such a cantankerous deity, Yama had beautiful calligraphy. It helped ease her fear of him. He couldn't be that terrible if all he did was sit behind a desk all day writing names into his book. Survival instincts of an unlucky cricket, refusing to give up, is such a gamble. Especially after that monologue about how hard his job is. Usually that's the sign of someone about to snap.
Do you have any idea?
No. We hear that Li Shang is scheduled to be reincarnated. Mulan still refuses to give up. She's so lucky she's the main character. King Yama tapped his fingers on his desk. Your determination intrigues me, Ping. More than that, you've amused me. Yama chuckled, then leaned back in his chair, looking weary. It's not every day a mortal succeeds in entering my realm and piquing my curiosity, so I will give you a chance. He wagged a finger at Mulan. But that's all. A chance. So that said, Li Shang will be saved if Mulan can find him and escape before the sun rises. But if she fails, she will be a prisoner here forever. Forever! King Yama is not making this easier for her. She is starting at the very bottom. Mulan studied the archway as she approached it. Etched into stone were the words, "All of life is a dream walking, all of death is going home." She recognized the proverb. It was one her school teachers had made her memorize and write over and over to practice her calligraphy. She never understood its meaning, but now, standing at the threshold of the underworld, something in her throat tightened as she read the familiar words again. Okay, stakes. Okay, fear. Mulan, I am not. I would have said goodbye to my potential papa-in-law, and we could have a family reunion in 2,000 years when I die. You can't run from it, but I can. Shang's family spirit guardian is not helping like how I thought he would. He's underestimating Mulan, giving "how could I make a man out of you" vibes, without the songs, insulting Mushu, who he hasn't even met. A house lizard. She looked repulsed. Strange that your ancestors would send such a pitiful guardian to protect you in battle. Mushu isn't pitiful. A guardian is a reflection of whom he protects. If your ancestors sent you a lizard, then they must not think highly of you. She sniffed. Perhaps it'd be better if I alone sought Shang and brought him home. Your dead family must think less of you because of Mushu. What a bitch. My favorite part of this book was learning a bit about Chinese mythology. In the morning, Meng Po, the Lady of Forgetfulness, will bring Shang a cup of tea. Once he drinks, he will forget everything. His family, his friends, even his name. Then he will float back to Earth into a new life. Shang's time in the tower is the last time he will remember any of us. I did my own internet search of Meng Po, and while I couldn't find the place they mentioned, Tower of the Last Glance to Home, the memory wiping tea is a real piece of mythology. Disney telling pre-existing stories is a foundational part of their company, and like everything else Disney does, people have mixed feelings, but I can't help but appreciate the many rabbit holes Disney has led me to. Mulan reunites with Shang Chapter 10, once again, much earlier than I expected. We're only a quarter of the way through this book. Shang thinks it's unhonorable to change his fate. He died, so he's dead. I guess he feels like he failed. This stubbornness makes sense. He was exactly the same way in the movie. Yeah, have I mentioned there's a movie? I'm glad they reminded us again. Your soldiers need you, she paused. Remember how hopeless we all were in the beginning? Shang let out a laugh. It was brusque, but Mulan went on, encouraged. Do you remember when we first met? How could I forget? You were the worst soldier I'd ever seen. Sometimes she wished she could forget the first time she'd met Shang. Mushu had given her a few questionable lessons on how to behave like a man. I love the idea of someone reading this book having never seen the movie. Even as she's risking everything to save him, she still feels so much shame. He never resorted to bending the truth. Unlike her. Was it wrong of her to deceive him, especially when he trusted her so much? If he ever found out the truth about her... Stop it, Mulan sighed. Friend or not, he can't find out the truth. The author did a great job weaving in the movie's themes. As sad as Mulan beating herself up is, I see why it's so persistent. In chapter 14, Shang's family guardian, the lion who is so rude to Mulan/Ping, sacrificed himself to save the humans. He pulled a Bing Bong. And just like with Bing Bong, I wanted to care, but I couldn't. The one-off character was offed. Yeah, that checks out. Even though they're on a time crunch to escape the underworld, Mulan still finds a moment to ask Shang what his girl worth fighting for would be like. And guys, it's kind of implied this hunk hasn't had his first kiss yet. All they could do was flutter their fans and bat their eyes. The matchmaker mother hired bragged that they were perfect porcelain dolls. Another lyric.
Wow.
What she didn't say was that they had no mind of their own. Shang grimaced at the memory without looking at her. The sides of his neck pinked with embarrassment. They'd say anything to make me like them. How familiar that sounds. Mulan put her hands on her hips. Not all girls are like that. You have to look at it from their perspective too. Girls are raised to be pretty and graceful and quiet. She made a face. They aren't allowed to speak their minds and they don't have a choice in who they marry. My parents were lucky that they fell in love, but their marriage was arranged too. And my mother, she doesn't even belong to her family anymore after they got married. It wasn't my mother's decision, but her family. They told her that a woman's only role in life was to bear sons. Shang leaned forward. You sound quite passionate about this. Bro is jealous he thought Ping was gay. Did they send me thought daughters when I asked for gay sons? Happy Pride, everyone. Mulan is such a badass. Imagine being your husband's bi awakening.
Slay!
Oh, by the way, the lion guardian didn't actually die. He just had to have a fake out so Mulan and Shang could have this romantic tension. Can't believe I ever compared him to Bing Bong. He's just a frickin' ding-dong. We are 200 pages in. The confession from Mulan that she's a woman happened after her ancestors interrogated her, and Shang was just as understanding as he was in the movie. Understand that I couldn't save my father when he needed me, so I should understand that you lied and deceived the entire army so you could save yours? That's enough, Shishi said, finally speaking up. Do not let your emotions overwhelm you. Whether she is Ping or Mulan, a true friend is rare. Finally, the lion is being a guardian. Shishi, Shang growled. You are my father's guardian, not mine. I am your guardian, replied the lion. You are being stubborn. Do not let pride blind you into forsaking your friend. Shang turned away. He wouldn't look at her. I thank you for accompanying my guardian to find me in the underworld. His voice was distant, polite, as if they were strangers. I relieve you of your duty here, and I discharge you from your obligation to the army. Shishi and I will complete the journey out of DU. I ask that you find your own way. The penalty for impersonating an Imperial soldier is death, Shang said coldly. I don't want to see you again. If I do, I will have no choice but to follow the law. This is the thanks she gets for trying to save him. She is risking her life, and he's like, find your own way out. I can't believe I fell in love with a woman. The fight, much like the Lion Guardian's fake death, was perfectly timed because now the Lady of Forgetfulness cornered Mulan, who is now all alone. And the Lady of Forgetfulness is tempting her with an illusion of home, an illusion of normalcy. This shit always freaks me out. It's like that scene from Tangled the series where she knows it's all fake, but she's still tempted by this sweet dream. Her fake loved ones keep trying to offer her the advice of, do what makes you happy. Why would you want to be sad with the truth? But blonde Rapunzel, present day Rapunzel, the one that's actively being suppressed, keeps coming in to be like, hey, none of this is real. You know where we are and what we have to do. Wake the hell up or everyone you love will die. 5 more minutes, please. Just 5 more minutes. It's fucking stressful. I get why she doesn't want to deal with it. On top of that, the Lady of Forgetfulness really played into Mulan's insecurities and the way she feels so out of place. Haven't you ever wondered what life would be like if they were proud of you? Meng Po asked. Mulan refused to reply. She watched her reflection in the pond ripple. I can give that to you. If you drink, everything will be much easier. Ooh, it took me a while, but at this point, I couldn't put the book down. Internal conflict made external yummy. Instead of Mulan breaking herself free, Shang saved her, and it's the least he can fucking do after she put herself in harm's way only to have him abandon her. Shang looked at her bashfully. I was wrong. Man or woman, you're still my friend. I'm gonna sing again. Mr. I'll make a feminist out of you. I had my arms crossed. I was not hearing this dork out. But listen, okay, listen. The only reason she found you in the first place is because of me. It's my fault. We should have stayed together, yet I left you. I abandoned my friend, who would have never done the same to me. He lingered on that note sadly. I don't understand if you never forgave me, but can you? Mulan crossed her arms and pretended to think about it. For not trusting me or for saying women can't make good soldiers? Both? Mulan had never seen the captain look so vulnerable and ashamed. It touched her.
Gross.
I was wrong to judge you so quickly. I was ungrateful. You risked your life to come here and find me. Facts! His eyes met hers. I promised that I trusted you, and that should not change whether you're a man or woman. You're my friend whether you are Ping or Mulan. Not a bad apology. I don't think I would have taken it, but still, it's nice to see that they're rebuilding the friendship. Before Shang confessed, shit, and you know what else? Man or woman, you're hot as hell. Be my bridegroom. Much like Elena of Avalor's scepter, the sword Mulan found in the underworld that I didn't mention until now channeled the power from within her. The sword of the blazing sun is magical and glows when Mulan channels her courage. The way they described the fire demons emerging from the lava, I would have died on the spot. How are they making her even cooler than she already was? If Mulan 2 was canon after all of this, Shang should have stayed dead. Seriously. They're almost out of the underworld. The next test Mulan has to face is the Chamber of Mirrors. She has to face her inner demons in the reflection. Here we go! You escaped a sweet dream. Now, can you escape a nightmare? Everyone you love hates you and wants you dead because you can't be a girl right. Fuck, dude! Give Mulan a break! The ending better be so happy I smile wide enough to grow dimples so deep I can jump inside of them. Then she had to find her true self in these many mirrors. We circled all the way back to identity. It didn't seem like it would be that hard, because most of the reflections were just like, meh, you're a piece of shit. So she just had to find the one that wasn't doing that. The ending was the opposite of blue balling. They made me think something stupid and annoying was gonna happen, and it didn't. So not blue balling, they purple penised me. When Shang escaped from the underworld with Mulan, he forgot what happened. Until he told Mulan about his dream. And she was like, no, you idiot, that was real. And he was like, what? I love you. Not a dimple in sight. Can I pitch a future Twisted Tale? What if Mirabelle learned magic from Cedric? I know it'll never happen because a crossover is too much to ask for, but have you considered please give it to me now? Wait a minute, why am I acting like a crossover is impossible? There are so many, one of the most popular of which being
Kingdom Hearts is light! Light and strongest than darkness!
I played Kingdom Hearts on stream for the first time recently, and I am nowhere near finished, but let me talk about my first impressions, and more importantly, the cultural impact. The first Kingdom Hearts game was released in 2002, which is 10 years earlier than I would have guessed. It feels kind of ahead of its time to me. What I didn't realize is to this day, PlayStation 2 is the best-selling game console of all time. The PlayStation 2 was released by Sony in the year 2000. It doesn't feel like a coincidence that Disney would release a game on this very popular household console 2 years later. The game follows Sora, a young boy that jumps from world to world, not only meeting Disney characters, but also characters from the video game series Final Fantasy. Chris Angel? That's Chris Angel of Mind Freak fame. I was shocked to learn that Disney did not purchase Final Fantasy. This is simply a collaboration, not an acquisition. Something I was gonna say never happens nowadays, but then I remembered the inclusion of Kingdom Hearts Sora in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Wait, this kind of looks like Kingdom Hearts low-key. You know how the door... Stop. No, look at the twinkle, bro. Please. Stop. Please tell me that's a kid!
Disney, who is known for collecting other companies like Infinity Stones, a reference to another property they own, not disrupting video game empires, just goes to show the cultural chokehold they have. Now, as for my gameplay, I am just a terrible streamer. I could not for the life of me figure out how to turn on the volume. I was stressed. But for the intro, it ended up working out for me because that very dramatic song would copyright strike the shit out of this video. The only thought running through my head as I watched this very dramatic intro, I listened to it before I went on stream because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to. Hello? Hi, Sora! Get your ass over here! Get out of the water! What are you doing? What the fuck? Are you like drowning or something? Stop doing that. Idiot. He's falling again. He's watching himself falling from the sky, and now he's falling again. And she's like, oh, this isn't funny anymore. Stop drowning. Sora, enough. You're being ridiculous. No, stop doing that. Oh my god, how are you still falling? I met Sora's friends, the love triangle moment going on here. The three of us will always be together. I can't wait to see Kairi do something, anything, besides just send me on little missions. But in between, we have cutaway scenes to Donald and Goofy reacting to the fact that Mickey is missing, and my ass was starting to get impatient.
Just can't wait.
Just can't wait. Once we set sail, he's remembering what she said because he has a big old crush on her. Dude, just meet Goofy already. You know what? What if I just show you the clips from this stream? What if I gave you as little context as I had? You know what? I like that. Let me in, let me in, let me in.
I've come to see the door to this world.
Oh my god, that was the deepest voice ever. I've come to see the door. This world has been connected. What are you talking about?
Tied to the darkness.
Darkness. Oh my god.
Soon to be completely eclipsed.
Do you ever see this character? Please tell me you see this character.
Whoever you are, stop freaking me out like this.
Stop freaking me out like this.
Huh?
Blockhead.
A meaningless effort.
Oh, he's kind of mean. He's mean. He's mean. He's bullying a kid. Hot voice, though. That's the Kingdom Heart. I got the key. I got the key. I got the key. The key was inside me all along. Keyblade. Keyblade. Okay. Level up, strength up, something up. Keyblade. Let's go. You all said, Athena, please save. Athena, please. Because you all thought I'd die. Because you all thought I wouldn't be able to suck up that shadow, bitch. No! Now he's reverse falling.
Disney Twisted Wonderland.
I guess I'm too old to be a mobile gamer. You have games on your phone? No, I don't. I sucked at the battles, I was confused, and I ended up deleting it off my phone because it took up so much space. I mean, 8 gigabytes? Good God! But let's look through the little gameplay I have, talk about the highlights, and then move on to the anime and manga.
Try and keep up, mate.
So, are we complimenting the magic mirror, or is the mirror gassing us up, telling us we look fire while there are green flames in the reflection? Is that supposed to be us? Are we just an evil soul looking for a vessel? Apparently so. We ask for a visage. And even though this whole exchange was voice acted beautifully, as you can see, I was just tapping on the screen. My attention span was dwindling. I think I was trying to skip. What a jerk I was. On my boomer shit, I guess I wanted to play Candy Crush instead. We see a carriage, a castle, and then both at the same time. Who was that? Us? I mean, clearly not. We're still talking to this mirror, who beckons us to take our own hand. We will now pick our very own twisted destiny, in the form of what group to be a part of. They call Maleficent the Thorn Fairy, which goes hard. But after looking at fits and personalities, there were a lot of great options. I was indecisive as shit, but I decided to go with my favorite Disney villain, Scar. It asks me if I want to take the plunge. I say yes, and we lock the fuck in. Into this coffin? What's going on here? The house is called Savannah Claw. Leona tells us, honestly, most of your life's decided for you from the moment you're born. There's no point in working hard. Okay, defeatism. Okay, predetermined eternal punishment. Okay, over 6 feet of pure nihilism. I like that this skinny, very unintimidating dude is supposed to be based off the hyenas. She-hee-hee-hee-hee. Disney is too focused on the aesthetics of these teens. This guy is supposed to be stinky. Make him covered head to toe in ever-flowing gunk like that cursed woman in the mobile ads. They did not explain the gotcha-looking battles clear enough for me. We see this dog cat with a hellfire mane, and we have to fight it, and even though I don't know what I'm doing, Leona, once again shading Mufasa, says, I don't need brute strength to fight. Then why did we lose? Water powers? Where the fuck did that come from? Why would he have that power? The giant hell creature noticeably did more damage. Who would have thought? I have no strategy at all. I die very quickly, and they don't fall to their knees or look like they're in physical pain. They just look embarrassed. Sorry, guys. When we finally enter the game, we meet Grimm, who looks like a baby version of the creature we were just fighting. A fiery little kitten. Cute character design. He reminds me a lot of King from the Owl House. He doesn't want to be perceived as cute, even though he is. Roasted alive by a weasel? What will I dream of next? I'm not a fucking weasel! So that cat is assigned as our familiar, and we meet the headmaster, or head mage, because magic. We learn that coffins are gateways, that this is Night Raven College, and that we lost our memories, I think? The head mage's name is Dyer Crowley. I just know some Good Omens fans spit out their drink. But guess what, guys? I'm sorry to say I never attended that orientation because I didn't feel like it. I dropped out of this magical school before it even began. But to learn about this world and story in a way that doesn't take up my precious phone storage, let's take a look at the anime. The first season of the anime, the only one that's out right now, follows the group Heartslabule, or as I said before I looked it up on the Reddit, Heartslabule. This is the Queen of Hearts group. I happen to get the manga for these particular characters, so we'll have a direct comparison. Same intro as the game, mirror, horse-drawn carriage, but we cut to a non-magical school where a group of guys are practicing for a kendo tournament. In the manga, they are way harsher to the new member that sucks. Very little experience and almost no physical strength. Yeah, but without him, we wouldn't have 5 members. That's all we really need from him. Damn! But the harshness in this manga, plus the older student explicitly saying, "I'll pick up your slack," makes the weaker kids very emotional. I have to prove myself outburst make a lot more sense than in the anime where it seems like it came out of nowhere. In the anime, it is so awkward because all the older guy was saying is, "Hey, don't push yourself too hard, I got your back." And he was like, "I want to be strong like you!" Okay, whatever you say, man. I'm going home. Is that a horse? Yeah, the horse kills him, I think, and sends him to this magical villain school, even though he seems like a nice guy. Anyone in this situation would react like how he did.
Who are you weirdos? And why did you bring me here?
Good writing, honestly. If I could pitch one more piece of dialogue, have you ever heard of Disney adults? Get me out of here! No, cult leader Crowley just talked about how he was chosen. Crowley? Is he a reaper of sorts? Even the crows looked like they knew this guy was gonna die. Are these Crowley's messengers? Perhaps not. This first chapter / first episode makes him look weak as shit. Grim, the cute tiny fire creature that we met in the game, appears at the orientation and makes it go up in flames. The college boys have varied reactions, from Leona not giving a shit, to many running away, Azul, an Ursula boy trying to suck up while dropping a poor unfortunate Souls reference.
I believe I may be of some assistance here. If you'll allow it, I will gladly take on the unenviable role of apprehending and torturing this poor, unfortunate little soul.
He said it!
But the focus is on Riddle. Riddle, this Queen of Hearts boy, is enraged a ceremony was disturbed.
He's making a mockery of our traditions.
He punishes and magically locks away Grimm's powers, and he also threatens to kill our non-magical main character, Yu. Because apparently you insulted him by trying to save him and asking if he's alright.
That is tantamount to insulting the Queen of Hearts herself, you prodigious buffoon!
I know it's a bit silly, but making the self-insert character's name Yu is kind of brilliant. The magic mirror says he can't find where Yu is from in a very scary way.
Search far have I through fog and mist. The young man's home does not exist.
I thought the Earth was wiped out, but turns out they've just never heard of it. So Yu has to find another way to get back home. In the meantime, we learn more about this world. There's Ghost where Yu's living, and that somehow doesn't freak him out. The next day, he's cleaning up Main Street, and he doesn't recognize any of the characters, so the students explain their idols. It is so jarring to see an anime intercut with scenes from Disney movies, but Yu needed this backstory because Disney doesn't exist in his world, which is admittedly a way more interesting approach than if he was a Disney superfan. Can you imagine? Jafar is real? Oh my gosh, I love Aladdin and I played the magic carpet in my middle school play. I guess you could say I'm part of a whole new world. Oh, I'm gonna like it here. If a Disney superfan was sent here, it would take them less than 0 seconds to embrace their new life. But here we have conflict and confusion. We meet 2 more boys from the Queen of Hearts house. Ace is a bit of a shithead, fighting Grimm right after explaining all of these statues, and the Queen statue is up in flames. As a result, the head mage punishes Ace, Yu, who did nothing, and Deuce, who was actively discouraging this whole time. Poor Deuce was expelled just for being near the destruction. Deuce begs the headmaster, "I will do anything to stay in this school," so Crowley sends them on this very elaborate quest. I'll cover more of this series once I get the other books and when more of the seasons come out. Sorry for dipping early, but just like with Twisted Tales, this is a barrel of worms that most definitely deserves its own video dedicated to it. Plus, I didn't even realize there were different books for different groups. I only got the Hearts Labule one. And I also got the anthology manga, full of silly little stories I don't give a shit about. Haha, the cat made a mess. Oh, how hilarious. Sea polyp heads. The demographic of this book would chuckle and exclaim, "Sus." Is that still a thing? But my favorite part of the anthology books, because I didn't read them, is when you open up the book the wrong way, it just scolds you. Turn it over and read it on the other side. Dumbass. Twisted Wonderland was not Disney's only mobile game. Mirrorverse, despite being very popular with 5 million players at its peak, shut down in 2024, only 2 years after its release. I read through all the discourse on Reddit. Paying players were left in the dust once a lot of the creative team was laid off, leading to very few updates. The game itself was very loved, but Disney didn't think it was worth investing in the world and the gameplay. What world? What was the gameplay even like? Why are we starting at the end? While a lot of other AUs leave things in the air, Mirrorverse spells it out. Let me read you the intro to both the World of Mirrorverse book and the Snow White one. There are 2 sides to every story. There's the story you know, the familiar, the cherished, the beloved, and the story you haven't heard, the unexpected, the mysterious, the surprising. When the former crosses over into the latter, and the well-known enters the unknown, you have the makings of a brand new universe of high adventure. This is Disney Mirrorverse, an alternate look into the worlds of Disney and Pixar from an exciting game about the stories you love, told in astounding new ways. I'm already sold! What else can be said? How about this? In the not very distant past, 2 magical stars collided, sending realities spiraling into 2 very different directions. The source worlds you all know and love still exist. But now our beloved characters also exist as new, amplified versions of themselves in the Mirrorverse. In the mirror worlds, everything is heightened. Personalities, powers, and dangers. The trailer shows off Merida and Scar using these mirror powers in different ways. The dramatic narrator goes on to explain, "Whoever controls this gateway controls them all." I'm shitting myself. We see how both Merida and Scar fight off these fractured dark mirror goons. They call them goons. There's the stellar mirror and the dark mirror. And this dark mirror is way more twisted than just henchmen. It can create evil versions of beloved characters. Fractured Maui. Fractured Goofy. Fractured Judy Hopps, not the bad cop. Fractured Mr. Incredible. Even fractured Olaf. What is he gonna do? Annoy me to death? And there's so many more. What especially confuses me is the fractured villains.
Huh?
I guess they're just as evil, just unplayable. They are obstacles to both the good and evil characters. Anyway, why are they here? Allow me to read you more. Behold, the guardians, defenders of the Mirrorverse. Like 2 sides of the same coin, the champions of Disney Mirrorverse are the same one you may be intimately familiar with, while also being intrinsically different in very specific ways. Each guardian has been recruited by Mickey the Mouse to defend the Stellar Mirror and the worlds of the Mirrorverse at large from ever-present threat of the fractured forces. This specifically chosen crew of heroes and even ne'er-do-wells are altered and amplified versions of the one you know from their source worlds. So that explains why you can play as villains as well. I don't know why the villains are helping Mickey, but again, it's the fractured is evil to both the evil doers and the heroes, because they're all defending the stellar mirror, okay? Some examples of the way the stellar mirror amplifies powers are really cool. Here are some of my favorites. We have Gaston with this beast pelt around his neck. They made Gaston have more beast-like powers. We have Captain Jack Sparrow. Branded by the black spot, Divergent Jack's right arm has been transformed by stellar magic, allowing him to turn his many curses to his advantage. By manipulating the mystical effects within him, he can channel his curses to help his friends and harm his foes. This design goes hard. You have Ariel with part of her father's trident. Triton's trident has become unstable and split into a spear. And we have my girl Tinkerbell. Stellar magic has supercharged Tink's pixie dust, allowing her to project a giant version of herself that creates defensive aura or launches offensive bursts, with a burning passion to do what's right, at least by her standards. This stubborn fairy is a force to be reckoned with. I love this. Some are a lot less fleshed out, like for whatever reason, Nemo characters get in on the action with vehicles to ride on. We are suspending our belief so much, but we can't have them breathing air. They are rolling around in little fish bowls. A 12-year-old girl's anger is here. And hold on, why does Minnie have punching power? I thought she'd be more likely to possess a charm kind of power, like singing a song that hypnotizes people. Although I don't know how that would work with the gameplay. Oh yeah, the gameplay! I was so caught up in the world, I didn't think about what the actual experience was like. Hopefully it's as awesome as the trailers made it out to be. Oh damn! I was expecting another gacha game in all honesty, but this is really nice. It's giving a bit of Super Smash Bros. Adventure mode. This was a phone game? I'm honestly pissed I'll never get to play this. It's so ambitious and had the potential to have a Kingdom Hearts level dedicated fan base. Major companies nowadays need immediate payoff with little to no upkeep for them to care about anything. Books are such a low-risk industry for Disney because once the book is out, you don't need to update it or fix bugs. It's a book. That's why they have 1 million books. And this is probably why they don't try to buy video game companies. They don't want to do all that shit.
Am I a Muppet? Am I a Muppet? If I'm a Muppet, then I'm a very manly Muppet.
Disney purchased The Muppets in 2004. The first Diary of a Wimpy Kid book, not counting the webcomics on Funbrain, came out in 2007. Presumably, Disney saw the immediate success of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, thus Tales of a 6th Grade Muppet was born. The first page starts with the same lined paper and terrible handwriting, similar kinds of doodles, but let's be honest, Diary of a Wimpy Kid popularized this, but Junie B. Jones was the blueprint. The B stands for blueprint. Junie walked so the Wimpy Kid could run, so the 6th Grade Muppet could crawl. Did the Post-it note factory explode? Because look at this shit. We're gonna go through them all right now. Seeing a character's thoughts written out like this leaves a lot of space for gags, my favorite of which is the spelling mistakes, followed by just giving up. Many of my colleagues, friends, this kid, Danvers Blickensturfer, wrote his school paper about his hero, Gonzo the Great. We see that this fixation is in fact hyper, with Greg Heffley levels of low empathy for comedic effect. He ruined his aunt's wedding and his great-uncle's funeral with these Gonzo-esque stunts. We can only hope the nose sock was washed. He ends his report with, "Please discuss amongst yourselves." And he even copyrights all of his writing and doodles. To my surprise, the whole book isn't written like this. So even though I think Disney really wanted to compete with Diary of a Wimpy Kid, it is still distinct on its own. Plus, Greg Heffley doesn't own the diary format. Before Mr. Piffle could call on another student, I announced, "At this time, I would like to perform my grand finale." Mr. Piffle frowned. Oral reports don't generally have grand finales. But it was too late. The wheels of fate were in motion. And now, in tribute to the great Gonzo, I shall balance a basket of free-range emu eggs on my chin using this yardstick, to the tune of Bingo Was His Name-O. It was at this point I remembered he's not a hyperactive 6-year-old, but an 11-year-old, so I held my breath, bracing for impact, because I knew this kid was about to get bullied. A lot. We see on the very next page the egg spell, the onomatopoeia of kersplat, and as expected, his classmates laugh at him. But they didn't make him the only Muppet's lover. I could have lived with the egg on my face. I hear it's good for the complexion, but all the other reports were painfully bland and ordinary. Okay, at least Dante DiGiorno picked a Muppet, but come on, everybody picks Kermit. The probability of two kids in the same middle school class in 2011 choosing Muppets to be their heroes seems very unlikely. Much like Greg wrapping up Rowley in all of his messes, Danvers is also not a great friend to Pasquale. Luckily, Pasquale puts his foot down and took legal action. We are only on page 10, and a lot is happening. Like a lot of folks, his mom and dad just don't get it. True art involves sacrifice. Vincent van Gogh gave up his ear. The Sphinx in Egypt is missing her nose. And I once lost my lunch after eating a whole pint of cream spinach in time with Yankee Doodle Dandy. In the words of Gonzo, if it doesn't leave a mess, it isn't art. Disgusting. I need to see a crack ship friendship between Rowley and Pasquale, both in casts at the doctor's office waiting room, talking to each other and realizing they deserve better. I jumped the gun on that one. I don't actually like Pasquale as much as I like Rowley. You'll see why.
Don't call me. Don't come by my house.
Okay, so I was wondering why this frog-like kid giving the presentation had his little piggies out, and I thought he was just dressed like a Muppet for this presentation. While Danvers is auditioning for the ice skating festival, there are just puppet people, in his words, an all-frog quartet. I don't know why I'm surprised, to be honest. In all Muppet media, puppet people and humans cohabitate. I think it just caught me off guard because this kid, as a Gonzo superfan, I would have expected him to express jealousy over just being a boring old human. Glad this very obvious fact about their universe was figured out, because who else but Miss Piggy is the judge of this audition? How could this middle school afford her? Let me read you a bit about these auditions. It didn't go too well for Danvers. Moi can appreciate your artistic reach, but that sounds just plain crazy, kid, agreed Miss Piggy. My dreams were crushed. Even Miss Piggy had rejected me. It was almost too much to bear. But then, something happened. As Pasquale and I collected our presentation materials and walked off the stage, all the girls in the room shrieked with glee and barreled up the aisle towards Pasquale and me. I knew it! I shouted, "This is it, dude. The ladies love us." "Oh, a happy day," squealed Pasquale, I don't know. But the screeching horde of girls ran right over our scrawny hides on their way to the stage. I looked back to see my worst nightmare. Coldrain Middle School's most popular boy band, Emo Shun, was ready to perform. Emo Shun, huh? This certainly is 2011. I don't care about this band. My attention is on these divas. Obsessed with them, I'm convinced this is me as a Muppet. I am Fozzie's niece, Fozthina P. We see little drawings that Danvers made, talking all about his ex-best friend in the band Emo Shun. Monsters, Inc. gave Cody Carter nightmares for weeks. Now hold on a minute. Are Sully and Mike and all the monsters from Monsters, Inc. Muppets in this world? Think about it. I know Disney just wanted to flex another iconic franchise they own, but the implications of this world, what do you guys think? Of course, Danvers' baby sister Chloe is an asshole. Think Megan from Drake and Josh. With an evil little sister, the main characters seem less shitty. Tale as old as time. Chapter 4 opens with Danvers waking up to a bright green light, and he was Muppetified. And also terrified? I thought he'd love this. At first it seems like he's going to keep this a secret from his parents. There are 3 other books. I thought to myself, if he somehow keeps this a secret through all of this, his parents are Mr. and Mrs. Turner level negligent. To hide the fact that he is now a puppet person, he has this spacesuit costume on. I am obsessed with the design of the school guidance counselor. And also, ever since Danvers turned into a Muppet, the old man hecklers Statler and Waldorf followed him around to roast him. Something they never did when he was a human. It was Statler and Waldorf sitting in the bleachers this time. They were starting to get on my nerves. "Go pick on someone your own age," I yelled. "We would, but it's not polite to make fun of the dead." This was ridiculous. It was like they were trying to distract me. Whammo. Lot of onomatopoeias. Thanks to those old curmudgeons, I let my guard down and got pegged. The blow knocked my helmet off and I landed flat on my back. Everyone gathered around what looked like my headless body. Statler and Waldorf also called him Buzz Lightyear before with his getup. We get it, Disney. I would say take a shot every time they make a reference back to their other movies, but we would be dead. Learning about Muppet anatomy was also very interesting. Things don't hurt as much, which explains all the cartoony violence, and Danvers even used the word Muppet morphosis. This book just won me over. The secret that he got turned into a puppet did not last all series. It didn't even last a chapter. But his parents are still bad people. "It's my fault," Mom said at dinner, sniffling over another horrific meatloaf. "I never should have exposed you to years of craft project, all that felt and sewing." "Don't be ridiculous," said Dad. "It was my fault. I let him watch too much Muppets. He should have been watching football and senseless violence." "May I be excused?" I said. They were really bumming me out. Not the Muppet phobia, damn. Muppets exist in their world. So even though this transformation caught them off guard, it's not like they jumped to how did this happen cosmically. Nope. We get a gay allegory, almost as out of place and misguided as Zootopia's species racism. I don't know, dude. It was really weird. The sister is trying to sell her brother's story to a TV network, and look at this. Phineas and Danvers. God damn it. There's 104 days of summer vacation. That is a Disney show. Oh, you can't see it, but this is a Great Wolf Lodge shot glass.
Wow.
What a funny joke. Danvers saw Ralph as Dr. Bob and started putting the pieces together. If I take another shot, I'm gonna see Dr. Rolf. So I'm not doing that again. That was a one-time thing. Here's the book. I shook my head. I'm serious. Ever since I changed, I swear I've been seeing stuff that should only exist on TV. "Like what, pray tell?" said Dr. Bob. "Like this place. Your name is really Rolf, and you play a doctor on TV, and those two old guys out in the hall keep pestering me." "That's just Statler and Waldorf. They pick on the week. And the month, day, and hour, too." Cute. "And then there's you, Miss Piggy," I continued. "You're a famous actress. Why are you working at a veterinarian's hospital?" The Muppets being celebrities is one thing, but him being part of the story, where they're all in character, is very different. Here's another example. As we approached Dr. Honeydew's laboratory door, I whispered to Pasquale, "Isn't this weird? Everything's all mixed up. I'm a Muppet, Statler and Waldorf are stalking me, Dr. Bob runs a real hospital, and now the Swedish chef and Dr. Honeydew are here at a private school run by Sam the Eagle. It's nuts!" They suspect a honeydew experiment was the cause of Danvers turning into a Muppet, or as they say, Muppet morphosis, but I still don't know why he wants to turn back to normal. We see Pasquale trying to empathize with Beaker, but this dumbass kid doesn't know that Honeydew and Beaker's freaky shit is completely consensual.
Bunsen and Beaker, why are you wearing each other's clothes?
If it happens outside of work, we don't owe him an explanation.
Danvers got an internship position at the Muppet Theater that's usually not even in his state, and this starts chapter 15. The drive there with Electric Mayhem was fun, although the way they drew Animal upsets me. I can't place my finger on it, nor do I want my finger to be placed on it. My favorite art from this book is this picture of the sister that looks like it'll be the next viral reaction image. I can see this in TikTok comments now. Halfway through the book, he meets his hero Gonzo, and the two are immediately friends and perform together as a duo. This doesn't last long. They remain friends, but Danvers weirdly has a complete 180 in what career he wants. He ends up being a singer. But regardless, him meeting Gonzo is manifestation, but he's not a man. Muppetification. It took Danvers embarrassingly long to realize he's living the dream. I don't know why he ever thought this was a curse to begin with. It seems very out of character. Gonzo has a heart-to-heart with the kid and romanticizes being misunderstood. Danvers, he said while we were taking a snack break, with all these brilliant creative juices flowing through your veins, you must be really popular at your school. Actually, I'm kind of considered the school weirdo. No one takes me seriously at all. Gonzo jumped up. Really? I have the very same problem. Isn't it great? Great. Most kids laugh at my stunts and girls won't give me the time of day. What's so great about it? Because you have something those other kids don't have. The element of surprise. Which would be a really cute scene if Danvers had a personality outside of trying to be like Gonzo. See, I wrote this, and then the next few books, he's not even trying to be like Gonzo at all. And the change comes out of nowhere, much like him becoming a Muppet overnight. I was a boy in middle school doing all right. Then I became a Muppet overnight. Ah! Pasquale ended up being a real coward. Instead of talking to Danvers, his best friend, he went on TV and talked shit about him. How would Danvers know you missed the crazy stunts you guys used to do together when you complained about it constantly? Danvers was starting to think he was supposed to stay a Muppet, but he has a predetermined destiny in the form of these books that the characters are aware of in universe. That would scare the shit out of me, bro. Truman Show, but not True Men. True Muppet. The True Muppet Show. It happens again here. Is it over? The show? No, this book. Compared to this thing, Moby Dick seemed like a short story. The ice skating show was chaotic. Honeydew's invention was not responsible for this kid being a Muppet. You'll see they have a bunch of false leads. And this book ended with yet another Disney movie name dropped. Sebastian from The Little Mermaid. If I take another shot, I'm going to sleep. Second book, Tales of a Sixth Grade Muppet, Clash of the Class Clowns. I'm glad I put Twisted Wonderland on pause to finish this series no one asked me to do. We have a recap of the first book in the form of another diary-like entry handwritten by Danvers, but the old bitches even interrupt him in this book's intro. This is no way to start off a book. We want danger and excitement. Yeah, I've read dictionaries that were livelier than this. Dimension-hopping demons. They're heckling from hell, and we're there with them. We have the first mention of something owned by a company that isn't Disney. It was the biggest night of my life. The 5th annual Kids Pick Awards. Like the Kids' Choice Awards, but they had to change the name because that's owned by Nickelodeon. Cute. The award show has the same type of slapstick scene in the first book until Miss Piggy breaks her leg and her spotlight is stolen by Danvers' sister, Chloe. We meet the class clown kid on the cover in chapter 4. And I guess now I'm fully on our main character's side, because this guy isn't funny at all. Thanks, Mr. Piffable, said Phipps. It's actually just Piffle. Sorry, Phipps said, shrugging. I got a thing for Ibbles and Ables and Ickles, as in the mystical, misterable Piffable and his historical classical.
A what?
This is what everyone's laughing at?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Danvers is funnier than this kid. I will say, Vincent Van Toe was pretty good, but every other Phipps joke, I'm snoring. I am the Simon Cowell of books made for elementary schoolers. We see a lot of people prejudiced towards Muppets throughout this series, calling Danvers' transformation an incident, and Fozzie's reaction to being mistaken as a carnival toy is very telling, especially after what he dealt with meeting his human girlfriend's parents in the ABC Muppets series.
This salmon is just terrific.
Likes the salmon, what a surprise.
So glad you like it. Do you know, if I'd known, I would have kept some raw for you.
Mom!
Well, they do catch them in rivers.
Actually, I usually get mine at Costco.
Oh, okay.
The Deja Poo 5000 is a honeydew invention where you put your detachable puppet nose into the machine and it shows you scent-based memories. This whole scene was cute, but I officially hate his friend Pasquale because he looks at a baby picture of his friend and says, "Nice butt, dude. Weirdo. Throw this kid in the trash." If there's one character they could really capture the aura of through their art, it's Miss Piggy. I feel like we've seen her more than we've seen Gonzo. Despite my queen being seen more in this book, it is just not as fun as the first. This whole book is just Danvers and Miss Piggy being rage baited over and over and over again. It feels like nothing else happened. Although the way they break the fourth wall still manages to tickle me, because what do you mean Pepe says exactly what page he's going to be hired on, and we wait 8 whole pages for the predictable punchline? I need to know why this through line amuses me. Another funny gag is Disney bringing up a show they own to make fun of it. Here we see the coach is watching Baby Einstein. And this is of course hilarious because adults watching shows meant for kids is stupid. I just remembered that's my whole thing. Fuck this book. This comedy off escalated into a honey-do invention accidentally hypnotizing the entire middle school, turning them into joke-telling zombies. Literally all I care about is if this kid stays a Muppet. I have no commentary on the plot on pot. We need to speedrun this shit. Even the opening of the third book points to my hypothesis of the Muppet form being permanent. For one, Honeydew says this is a possibility for the very first time, but even more so, his Muppet-phobic father finally accepts him. Dad clamped his hand on my shoulder and said, "I guess what I'm trying to say, son, is that maybe you were meant to be what you were meant to be." Easier said than felt. Felt like a feeling, but also felt like fabric, like a puppet. Danvers really wants to go back to normal because it's what he's used to. Talk to your non-binary hero and accept yourself, kid. The themes they're setting up, it would be really weird if you went back to being a human. Right? We are introduced to the new antagonist, Beavis Spracklin. Great name. I'll give him that. Yeah, the bully from the last book went to a new school, so we don't have to worry about what's-his-face anymore. But Beavis, though new to us, has actually returned to our main character's life. Beavis gave me an evil grin. And then there's Danvers. How I missed our time together. I heard you had turned into a Muppet, but I didn't believe it until now. This is gonna make my life a whole lot easier. How's that? I asked. Now that you're a lot lighter, it won't strain my back when I dangle you over the john for a swirly. Dude, the muscle man tough guy gym teacher is also afraid of this bully. I get that this is over the top for the purpose of haha comedy, but oh my god, could you imagine how horrifying that would be? It's reminding me of the time Flats the Flounder's father was afraid of his own son.
Who wants to kick my butt?
Dad, what are you doing?
Nothing, son.
What did I tell you about talking to strangers?
Now he's gonna kick my butt!
What the fuck? As if the bully and the movie they're filming at an abandoned rundown summer camp wasn't enough, we also have Danvers and his ex-friend Kip having a crush on the same girl, Sophie. The way he talks about her, of course, makes my skin crawl. Sophie looked down at her bare feet, her beautiful, perfect feet. Sorry, I got distracted there. Ew. This Disney AU's video is feeling awfully Nickelodeon right now. Derogatory. This book also ends flanderizing this kid's supposed hero. Kip tried to calm me down. You're right, my hair makes me a girl magnet, but I like Sophie because she is a rocker, yo. But Sophie is a skateboarding extreme stunt lover, I yelled. She couldn't be any more right for me. If only she was a chicken. She'd be perfect, added Gonzo. Gonzo, she's 13. The first book had such a fun premise, but the quality of each book dwindles in my opinion. Finally, we're getting somewhere with the Muppet science, the Muppet morphosis. Muppet movies are still affecting reality. The baseball diamond was stolen in England, I read aloud. Wait a second, wasn't that the name of the diamond in the Great Muppet Caper? Correct, said Dr. Honeydew. Now look at this photo of Charles Dickens on the back of this copy of A Christmas Carol. I couldn't believe my eyes. On the back of the cover was a photo of Dickens, except it looked exactly like Gonzo wearing a top hat and scarf. They won't let any reference go over our head. Didn't Gonzo play Charles Dickens in the Muppet Christmas Carol? Asked Pasquale. Precisely, said Dr. Honeydew. A fictional diamond theft showing up in a real newspaper. A cinematic portrayal of Dickens making its way into an actual novel. Some may say it's a coincidence. Who would say that? Some might call it curious, and others might claim it's a shameless plug for other Muppet merchandise. I told you, I said, things have been wacky ever since I transformed, starting with the veterinarian's hospital and the Muppet Theater being in the middle of Block City. And what's even worse, what made a chill go down my spine, somewhere MatPat is shitting, these microscopic organisms are Muppetified. solidified. Move over Beatlemania. There is now Muppet Mania, and their influence is molecular. This is Disney's dream. If they could inject us all with this, they would. Are you guys on the edge of your seats for this finale?
No!
Even though the last book ended with the cliffhanger that the secret to reversing the Muppet morphosis is in space, we somehow don't jump into that plot right away. No. Danvers transferred to Sam Eagle's school. I think this author had to make a word count. I thought nothing in this book could surprise me, but just when I thought I was out, they pulled me right back in. This is the last book, but somehow the first appearance of Uncle Deadly and Bobo the Bear. I love these guys. They're preparing to travel into space with a pig parody of Star Trek, and we get this exchange. It says here that since we last traveled to space, Pluto is no longer considered a planet. But of course, I knew he was a dog all along. Now what the heck is Goofy? Guys, somehow they knew I would read this book 13 years later. That joke was meant for me. I am that big-chinned pig. Sorry I've been such a buzzkill, but the characterization of Danvers makes me so confused. If you told Book 1 Danvers he would be shot into space, he would be so excited, he would be so happy. But ever since he met Gonzo, Danvers isn't a daredevil stunt Muppet anymore. That was his main thing, dude! I'm not saying characters can't change, but I would like to see why they changed. Feels like it came out of nowhere. Honeydew's robot that said the secret to undoing the Muppet morphosis was lying about the cure being in space. This robot just wanted Danvers' boy band to enter this intergalactic talent show, but if you lose, you get turned into jelly. I wrote on this post-it note, make the boy a Muppet forever. Oh, past Athena. That would make too much sense. Listen to this shit. Forgive me, Earthling, Muppet-human hybrid, but the key to your Muppet morphosis has been obvious since the second volume of your life story. Hee hee, ha ha. Now prepare to beam down to the surface, all of you, hee hee. As Howie rolled away laughing, Pasquale and I huddled. He said the key to my Muppet morphosis was in the second volume of my life story. That must mean book 2. We have to find a copy of book 2. It just never ends. It never ends. Final guesses, anyone? Turns out the reason Danvers turned into a Muppet is because the day before, on his little sister's birthday, she used her birthday wish to turn him into a Muppet. 4 books, and that's it. They should have made it a result of recessive genetics. He should have had 2 Muppet grandparents he didn't know about, especially with how much this kid is misunderstood. I don't know. The actual reveal matches the chaotic nature of the series, but to me the idea of a human boy turning into a Muppet just because of regular schmegular puberty is much funnier and explains human Muppet relations better. Once Danvers destroyed Chloe's recalled wish-granting toy that was responsible for everything, he was back to normal. I opened the door and found my parents standing there in the hall stunned. They swept me up in a huge hug. "You're back?" my mom said, beaming. "Lookin' good, sport," said my dad. "Good to see you've put some meat on those bones." It was the first time I had seen my parents that happy in a long time. So no one learned anything. Okay. Then this was the last line of the book. "I bet secretly you're going to miss being a Muppet." I laughed and took a mighty slurp of my chocolate shake. You know, Pasquale, whatever. "The one thing I've learned from this experience is that a Muppet morphosis is a lot like a bus that won't back up." "How so?" he said. "It's irreversible." It's because he's a Muppet in here still. He's always going to be a Muppet in here. Sure. Even though I was harsh for comedic effect, this series was super fun and I'm glad the author got 4 books. I still think Disney was most likely a little disappointed that they didn't come for the wimpy kid's throat like they thought they would. And as usual, if you can't beat them, join them. Disney Plus has 4 animated Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies. You know shit's popular when it has this many movies. Live action movies with 2 different casts of actors and animated ones too. I thought Disney paid for these movies specifically, but they actually acquired the film rights after purchasing 20th Century Fox. Oh boy, I almost forgot they own that too. They own far too many companies.
And now, back to the movie on Disney XD.
Call me a schemer. Call me a freak. How can you say that? I'm just unique. The songs, the stories. Descendants is the definition of camp. As you know, I already made a lore video all about the Descendants movies and the short spin-off animated series, and because there's a 5th movie coming out soon, I will most definitely be talking about it again in a re-explore. There is a new gelatin audio making the rounds on TikTok. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Perfect Princess Nepo babies. I love it. I had no idea that was a preview for Descendants 5 for the longest time. But the moment it clicked, I was filled with absolute joy. Of course it is. I love the stupidity of this series. Luisa from Encanto's kid will be there? Why the hell not? I think the Descendants movies thrive because of how much it differs from the original format. If each of the parents looked exactly as they did, animated in their original style, it would feel too much like a conventional sequel. Descendants being live action is so genius because it gives so many degrees of separation. Nothing is serious. I mean, it's all fictional, so you could always take what you like and leave what you don't, but you know as well as I do how intense people are about their childhood faves. So yeah, this is Beast and Belle's son. But is it really? Because the Beast and Belle we knew back from the olden days looked like this. These are just different people. Or maybe they're the same. The power is in the viewer's hands. Disney gives us options with no clear answers, to appeal to literally every demographic possible. But just like with Twisted Wonderland, Disney realized people wanted more of the villains. My theory, given the timing of Descendants, this is going to sound a little bonkers. I think they looked at Despicable Me. I think they looked at Megamind. You all laugh, but there was a shift in the air as early as 2010. Disney doesn't have to be the trendsetter. They just have to be there. I wonder if they'll ever include the son of Hulk or some shit in the Descendants canon. Speaking of Marvel, believe it or not, these Marvel comics where Mickey and friends get the powers of iconic Marvel heroes started this whole video idea. What if Mickey and friends became the Fantastic Four? What if Minnie became Captain Marvel? Yeah, what if? I don't know. But here's the thing, even before Disney bought Marvel, Marvel was known for silly shit like this. Inside the first page of both comics, they're promoting Alligator Loki. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know this was happening. Marvel also has comics about the Kool-Aid Man, and Archie, and Ren and Stimpy. I don't think these Mickey ones even make it to the top 10 weirdest Marvel comics. I'm so serious. This flew under the radar because this is what's expected at this point. Let's start with the Fantastic Four comic. Look at Minnie. Slay! She is serving! We see them all responding to the Fantastic Four symbol in the sky, which is how Mickey calls them. Donald's cranky ass having the Thing's powers is perfect. I am once again so charmed by Goofy. As the Human Torch, he tries to help everyone to the point of wiping himself out. He's the greatest. Goofy makes me emotional. But we have to rewind, because how have our friends acquired such weird powers? I must be a fake fan because I had no idea who Gyro Gearloose is. I know all the DuckTales fans just guffawed at me. He's not even a new guy. This character has existed since the 50s. He's a friend of all the ducks, and he's an inventor just like Lin-Manuel Miranda Duck.
This is disastrous. No, calamitous. No, cataclysmic.
The invention hit the characters and gave them these powers they all react very casually to. They underreact completely. Then we're brought to their very first mission. This comic is less about the story and more about the vibes, man. You grab a copy of Mickey and Friends as the Fantastic Four just to marvel at the art. Have you ever seen a group with so much aura in your life? Thought not. The villain is Pete as the Mole. That's an actual villain. Disney went from parodying this villain at the end of The Incredibles to turning one of their iconic characters into him because they now own Marvel. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet in this video, but they own a lot of companies, huh? Now on to Minnie as Captain Marvel. And you know who I saw on the first page?
Oh, my sweet Figaro, you know I love you so. So cuddly and so furry, just love to hear your purring.
Minnie is a reporter who keeps slipping in and out of consciousness every time she transforms into Captain Marvel. She is completely unaware of this alter ego of hers because she recently got the powers from a villain attack, and apparently I don't know shit about Marvel or the world of Mickey Mouse because I saw this and I was like, ooh, Evil Daisy, get it? But then I got to this page. Magica as Hecata. Which one is the duck and which one is the Captain Marvel villain? So this is Magica Dispel. This duck has existed since 1961. She's the sister of the Wicked Witch of the West? Oh, so they've just been throwing shit at the wall since before our parents were even born. What the hell?
It's Disney's House of Mouse!
House of Mouse was so much more than a clip show. Seeing the way all of these characters interact in the audience was always a treat. We have Hades getting together with Maleficent, a dynamic Disney loved so much Dove Cameron plays their daughter in Descendants, and another core memory is when the villains teamed up to take down Mickey in the Halloween special.
Flashback.
I love the villain number. It's our house now. When the villains take over the show at midnight. I don't know why they had to wait until that specific time. I think they just wanted to be dramatic. I mean, look at this fucking pose Jafar hits. Also, I can't believe Mickey is acting surprised. The villains being evil? Who could have seen this coming? In this same video, I was spiraling about the logic of this show, and I think I finally figured it out. How can we explain away the beast still being a beast? Ariel still being a mermaid? Of course, from a marketing standpoint, you want to show your characters at their most iconic, even if that doesn't match up with the conclusion of the movie. If Tangled was out at this point, I'd bet you anything Rapunzel would be in that audience with her long blonde locks. But if we were to force logic, why are they like this? I am going to give you the most confusing answer ever. I think it's exactly like how the world in Super Why works. No need to fear if you didn't study up with this classic lore video. I'll explain. In Super Why, all of the fairy tales exist in two separate worlds. In Storybook Village, they are a regular person, but in their book, they play out their story over and over and over again, and these timelines are going at the same time. As you can see from the House of Mouse theme song, they're really rolling out the red carpet for all of these characters, presumably because these movies exist in universe as well. So I would argue there's two versions of every character, just like in Super Why. The one where happily ever after is the last we see of them, and that story is what's happening with them for all of eternity, and the other that is aware of their legacy and is actively going to these events as a celebrity. It's a lot like the Muppet books we just read. The Muppets are celebrities, and the worlds they created collided, creating confusion because, wait, that's not real. But neither is real to us anyway. What is just plain fiction, and what is the fiction's fiction? And should that make a difference to us at all? My brain hurts. There's way too much to cover. I can't fit it all in one video. Like the card game Lorcana? Fuck it, let's open 2 packs while we're here. Let's start with Tinkerbell. I hope I get some rare hits like a Mewtwo or a Charizard. Come on, baby VMAX. It's Nala from The Lion King. Of course, who could forget about Squeaks? Pocahontas, Li Shang, Force of a Great Typhoon, like from the song? Come on, Hollow. Piglet, classic. That's a nice card. Pudge. I don't know what this is from. Kristoff Salute from Frozen. Ooh, is that a hollow? That's a hollow. Scrooge McDuck, hollow, of course. Of course his coin's gonna be shining. You know my boy. All right, VMAX. Oh, come out and fight, classic Mickey. Strike a good match. Cena, I think that's Moana's mom.
Are you sure about that?
Launchpad, I knew that guy's name. Shut up. Oh, I have that one already. Oh, Baby Anna. Chernabog, I don't care. Okay, a hollow. We got Thomas. You already know. What's the value of these? We also didn't touch on Dreamlight Valley Life Simulation. I have to stream that one day. There's a bunch of Disney Prince romance books, the old spin-off shows for Aladdin and Hercules, and even the show Tailspin, where Baloo from Jungle Book became a pilot. What? A sequel for this video is on the horizon, I assure you. Disney started as a company that reimagined fairy tales, and as their popularity grew, they realized they could repackage their own properties in more ways than we can count. As you heard in the beginning, I have such mixed feelings. I commend creatives so much for working within these weird restraints, but at the same time, they probably grew up with these movies and expanding the world could be so much fun for them. I don't want this giant spin-off industry to end. I love things like this way more than the live-action CGI movies. Flat-out recreations, don't get me wrong. All I'm saying is, I wish people were just as excited for new projects. Rich coming from me, the nostalgia tuber. I'm part of the problem. I will say my last video touches on a new show, Haha You Clowns. You probably saw the art style and thought, classic Adult Swim, I've seen this show 1,000 times already. I assure you, you have not. It is more similar to Full House. What? Yeah, I highly recommend this video. Sorry for plugging it thrice. That's a bit desperate, huh? This was a fun one. Let's have another shot out of the Great Wolf Lodge shot glass. Be sure to hype this video. Still don't know what that does. I just want the pat on the back of ending up on the hyped page. Wouldn't that be cool? Cheers, everybody.
Uh-oh. Stinky.
Have a great day. I do demand it. Bye!